What are you doing?
Waiting for Jay?
Oh. Are you looking up Banksy?
Bansky.
Banksy?
Barnsky. We should do like a farm-themed art show
Yeah.
and call it Barnsky.
Barnsky? Exiting the
What
barn?
else? Keep,
That's
no,
it.
you,
You fill in the blanks.
Keep cooking. Keep cooking.
What?
Keep going.
Yeah, but no one knows who the artists are. We all dress like farm animals.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. What's to eat?
What's that?
What are we eating?
Eggs,
Okay.
cheese,
Yeah.
milk, whole milk, unpasteurized whole milk.
Okay. Just whatever we
Corn.
can get off the animals.
The farm that's there. Itself. In fact, that's how you eat. You got to harvest your meal. You got to harvest it.
that's
No
so-
preparing, just right into your mouth.
That's
Yeah.
so real.
Yeah. This piece is called "Suck on a Cow's Teat," and it's interactive. You have to actually suck on the
You
cow's.
suck
teat.
on the cow's teat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, "Wow, I'll take
Oh,
it."
thank
$3
you for
million,
pain.
and they just get the cow. They just get the cow.
Yeah.
That's what they bought. A cow
my God.
whose teat they can now suck on.
What if I
Yeah.
prefer
Yeah.
camel milk?
What's that?
Camel? Oh, yeah. That's a throwback.
Oh,
Camel.
yeah. That is the throwback. Interesting.
camel.
Sweet.
That's
Camel's milk.
but that's a different art show. It's called Sansky.
Oh, Sansky. That sounds fucking racist.
That's super.
man.
No,
That's not okay.
because camels are from the desert where sand is.
Yeah.
You guys made it wrong.
Sure.
You made it wrong.
Let's make it right by starting this episode.
I didn't do anything wrong.
Because I'm good to go now.
I didn't do anything wrong or say anything wrong ever in my life.
Welcome back. We don't know where camels come from.
The desert where sand is, guys.
Welcome back
to Anime Shmanime.
to Jordy.
Yeah, Jordy's back,
I'm
guys.
in full health, as far as I know.
Full health.
Guys,
Shit's-
let me tell you what happened to me in graphic detail.
Buckle up.
No, I won't do that to you.
This
It was
is
awful.
going to get disgusting.
It was truly awful. But we're back.
But we're back. Yes, Jordy's back.
About time.
You know, he's got
I
his
know, I
shit
missed you
straight. You know, we're back into our
I
regular
got my
toxic-
shit out
Yeah, shit out.
from both ends.
And
we're
you
back
even
into our toxic relationship.
you even knew to come bearing gifts
I brought
Aha.
gifts.
with this delicious peach flavored energy drink. That
I
I'm
did.
now
And I
enjoying.
have this one that's called Rainbow Sherbet.
Nice.
Yes.
So you
Today
guys are
we're-
both rainbow sherbet
Today we are
teams.
sponsored
Yeah.
by caffeine.
Yeah.
Yeah, caffeine and 180 milligrams.
Which might make for a better or worse episode than if we were sponsored by
Yeah.
tequila again.
What else do we have in here? Apparently, I'm going to have increased concentration and reduced fatigue.
Yeah, you aren't. You got a kid.
So the opposite of our 1 year anniversary.
Yeah.
Oh, where I was like extremely unconcentrated
Yeah.
and very fatigued by the end of it.
Shadow realm.
Deep in the shadow
Deep
realm.
in the shadow realm.
Anyways,
Was that the last episode you did? No, I'm just
No.
joking. I'm just busting your balls.
I don't know.
I'm just busting your balls.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought-
What was the last episode that we did together, the three of us?
Bell,
It was Bell. Yes, it was Bell.
because I saw it on the screen. When we
Yeah, while we were setting up.
All right. Well,
All right, well-
anyways, what are we doing today?
We're doing Sword of the Stranger.
Sword of the
Yeah.
Stranger.
Sword of the Stranger.
If you couldn't decipher the sound Mikey made there.
Sword.
So it blew out your earphones maybe.
We're weird as hell, guys. I like it.
Yes, we're doing Sword of the Stranger, guys, and also keep in mind if this is your first time tuning in, we are going to spoil the fuck out of it.
We're going to talk about it.
Yep, get used to it. This is what we do. We review shit and
In depth.
in depth, and then we tell Jordy how wrong he is.
And today we are reviewing a no-name version of every samurai movie I've ever seen.
Fuck you, okay? So here's the thing about Sword of the Stranger, you piece of shit. This was a great movie.
I would say I haven't even seen that many samurai movies, and this felt like completely derivative of everything I've seen a million times before.
Okay, so first
Zero
of all,
originality
it is,
whatsoever.
As far as story goes, it is definitely very linear. I mean,
Boring, maybe? Is that the word you're looking
No,
for?
boring is not the fucking word here.
That's the word I was going to use.
Oh, so I remember. So I was telling Jay off camera, but like when I first heard about this, it was like way back in the day when it first came out, and when was it? It was like 2007.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and at that time, since Ninja Scroll, I haven't really found a lot of samurai anime that I really enjoyed until this one.
You were dying for one, though.
But yeah, and I was dying
I think
for
that
one.
maybe
so,
plays in a little bit.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
this is Mikey all over, dude.
It does,
Yeah.
right? This
It's
is
Lone
Mikey.
Wolf and Cub. This guy
Yeah.
talks about Lone Wolf and Cub every single time we hang out. At some point,
you're right.
he finds a way to mention it.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, 100%.
And this is
it's
Lone Wolf and Cub, the
it's
movie.
like it's Samurai Champloo without the bad hip hop take.
Okay,
No,
check
no,
it.
no,
Check
oh
it.
my God.
Hold on. You want to
Oh
hear?
my God.
Yo, for a take, for an off-camera take. Again, I was talking to Mikey about this.
Yeah.
I'm like, this movie hit in all of the ways that Samurai Champloo just did not.
Yeah.
In 26 or something episodes, it just could not hit in the way that this did
It
in
wanted to
fucking
be
2
this
hours.
really bad.
Absolutely, but
Yeah.
I agree. This
Oh
this
my
this
God.
this wants to be Lone Wolf and Cub so bad. This
Yeah.
wants to be, a lot of those classic stories. You know what I
Totally.
mean? I have watched my fair share of, Kurosawa films and all
Yes.
that, and this is definitely pulling from that, right? But for me, this felt more like a love letter, and this felt like a tight 2-ish hour, just really lean, like well executed story. It was actually kind of refreshing that it wasn't super complex, and
Yeah.
that may be what you construed as like boring or simplistic to me.
Mild, bland.
To me-
Those are words I used.
To me, I
Fucking
appreciate
get a different vernacular.
to me, I appreciated the straightforwardness of it, and I appreciated the directness of the story, and it just kept me locked in from basically start to finish.
Yeah.
And for me, this film, though, again, this is like an Avatar situation
Okay.
where I don't care about the originality of the story. Okay, Avatar's Fern Gully, Pocahontas,
Yeah,
Dances with
Yeah.
Wolves,
Sure,
whatever.
sure.
This is a billion other samurai, Lone Wolf and Cub type stories,
Yeah.
all wrapped up into one. For me, it's the execution on this that is stunning.
Yeah.
The animation, the music, the voice acting, everything to me as far as what puts this together, incredible.
All right.
And the other thing too is you're saying that now in 2023, when this movie came out in 2007,
Yeah.
right? So that just goes to show how well the animation held up, right? So because it is, it does feel timeless. There isn't a lot into it as far as story goes. I know where you're coming from with the Lone Wolf and Cub bit, because it's Ronin samurai with a kid, but that's Lone Wolf and Cub is a little bit more complicated than that.
It's just a tale as old as
guys.
time,
But
is what it
yeah,
comes down to.
It's the originator.
Yeah.
That's different. But I'm just saying, you can boil this down to that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
You can't boil that down to this.
No.
There's way more to that.
Yeah.
There's not that much more to this.
No. But with a
I don't even know that.
yeah, with a
And I
lean
felt that with this.
samurai movie, you don't really need a lot of twists and turns. Sure, you could get into a samurai movie with a lot of political stuff, especially back in feudal Japan and the daimyos and all that kind of stuff. But something where you're just following a moment in time, a story in an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours ish, right? And it's going to be a good fucking action movie.
So often it's just like a tale of revenge, or
Yeah.
a tale of redemption, or returning somebody who's been lost. It's a singular kind of mission. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and this is it. This is a tale of A, redemption, B, caring for someone, right? Helping someone in need, right? It's I don't know what you're thinking, man, but you're fucking wrong.
Well, I'll explain myself and we'll get into it. I'm really glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Really glad.
samurai movies and ninjas are fucking my jam.
I know they are.
Thing is,
Maybe not mine.
I agree with you, Jordy, but I enjoyed watching it despite
Yeah.
your hangups. They didn't stop the process for me entirely. I
Fair enough.
found a lot more to appreciate than
Yeah.
the depth or complexity of the story.
All right.
And we'll get into that too.
They had a dog.
Characters too. Depth and complexity of characters. Was
The
could have been
dog,
better.
man. Did you not fall in love with the dog?
The dog was a dog that was there, but it wasn't.
Shut the fuck.
Yo, the dog was poison.
Yeah,
the
I know. Yeah. I didn't like.
Put some spec
Listen.
on Toby Maru's name.
I didn't like when the dog got sick.
Motherfucker.
Okay, I didn't like it. I was happy when the dog got better.
Thank you.
I like that. I like when the dog got better.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
I didn't say I hated it. I just said
He's a badass, dude. He fucking straight up rips some guy's jugular out in like the
Yeah.
very first fucking scene.
the
Yes.
dog was cool. Dog was cool.
Badass.
Dog was cool. All right. Well, you want to give us some Senpai's Corner there, Jay?
Yeah, yeah.
Otherwise, Mikey and I might fight.
You're gonna lose.
We can't lose when it comes to opinions.
Yes, we can.
Sword of the Stranger, or in Japanese, Sutore Nija Mukohadan, is a 2007 Japanese animated, and we've come across this genre before, Jidaigeki Chanbara adventure film.
We've come across that before?
Literally,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, okay.
It is basically long form for like period piece sword fighting
Oh, okay.
film.
Yeah, Ninja Scroll was it?
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but like way more gruesome.
But
And
like
magic.
But like that's, and also animated, right? Like
Yeah.
this genre is actually usually not animated.
Oh,
It's
I see.
Just Japanese cinema is a very popular genre. This is
Okay.
just an animated example of that.
Gotcha.
Produced by Studio Bones and released by Shoshibu.
Bones are their money.
Okay, bones are their money. Okay,
Yeah, so
let
are
me-
the worms.
And let me take one quick second to give a shout out to Bones because we actually haven't really covered a lot of their heavy hitters, so we haven't talked about some of the stuff that they're really super known for.
Yeah, because off camera, you and I had a quick conversation about
Yeah,
this.
I
And, like, you
did.
didn't
I
realize.
did. I did some homework, obviously, as I should be doing as senpai, and I was like, Studio Bones. I'm like, I've heard that, but I'm like, who have they done? So I went through some searching, and I was like, actually fucking blown away that like I didn't realize Bones was one of my favorite studios. I guess.
Whoa.
You know?
Didn't even know. Hey, I guess I love bones.
Yeah, but like some big
You like
one-
boners?
Yeah. Yeah.
some
Yours.
big, some
well,
big players.
Drax.
Shut up. Some big players. Some big players. Eureka 7.
Fucking love Eureka 7.
Soul
man.
Eater, Uran High School Host Club,
Soul Eater was so good.
Mob Psycho
yeah.
100, Space Dandy,
was
Bungo Stray
sarcasm.
Dogs, and the two most massive ones, Full Metal Alchemist and My Hero Academia.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
These
so
are huge names, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
some of the biggest going. So like this, I can't believe I had never even heard of this film. If this is one of Bones's like big, outputs,
Yeah.
was this movie. But I'm happy I've seen it now. Anyways, so Sword of the Stranger depicts Kotaro, a young orphan hunted by Ming swordsmen who received unexpected protection from Nanashi, a troubled ronin. The film was commissioned in 2005, directed by Masahiro Ando, and written by Fumihiko Takayama. It features the voices of Tomoya Nagase and Yuri Chinen, with animation direction by Megumi Endo, character design by Atsushi Morikawa, and its orchestral score composed by Naoki Sato. Holy shit, Naoki Sato killed it. The fucking music in this movie was insane.
Banging.
Made me fucking weep.
I don't know. I didn't
Shut
weep,
the fuck
but
up,
I,
Tony.
I was
Shut
going to
up.
say something nice. I was
Okay,
going to
what
say
was
something
it?
nice.
What
Not
was
nice
that?
enough.
I didn't weep, but it was great. But I don't weep. We know this.
It's true.
That's
You're
not true.
a
You do
robot.
weep.
I have wept.
You have
But
wept.
he didn't cry during your name, so like
Oh, I guess that's true.
I stopped breathing for a second in your name. That's got to count.
I stopped breathing and cried.
Yeah.
Damn, I'm a piece of shit.
I guess you are.
We've gone over this many times how
Shit,
soulless
I
you are.
suck.
I'm still bitter that you
I
were away.
suck.
Clearly,
I
that's what's
suck.
going on today.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's both of us are so fucking frustrated with him for being away
It's
this
pent up.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
We can normally get this out
I
every
could
couple of
come,
weeks.
and we all could have shit and puked in toilets and bags. Would you have preferred that?
Yeah. Well, maybe you got what fucking the dog got with the poison.
Maybe I was poisoned.
Maybe you were poisoned.
You know what? If I did, it was you.
Yeah, probably. But I wouldn't suck it out of you.
This is the worst 8 minutes of podcasting we've ever done.
Oh.
Should we just restart? Just from the beginning. Welcome back.
We're back, man. We're back.
All right.
Anyways, let me finish fucking Senpai's corner.
Go ahead.
Please, without either of you
Go
guys
ahead.
going on some tangent about sucking each other. Because I think that's the
Sucking
second
each other's
time now.
poisons. And nothing else.
Sword of the Stranger was theatrically.
You got blowjobs on the brain now. You're picturing it.
Sword of the Stranger was theatrically released in Japan on September 29th, 2007, and began a limited release in the United States on February 5th, 2008. So we did get it a little bit after Japan. It received positive critical reception with praise for the animation, action sequences, and music. I agree. The three by far major highlights are
What were they again, sorry?
the animation,
Okay.
the action sequences, and the music. It was nominated for Best Animated Feature Film at the 2008 Asia Pacific Screen Awards and was Japan's submission for Best Animated Feature at the 81st Academy Awards. That's Oscar shit.
Interesting. What beat it? Some stupid Disney shit? Ratatouille. It had to be
That would have been what,
Ratatouille.
2007?
2007.
Well,
yeah.
But it would have been for the 2008 awards.
Oh yeah. Because
Probably.
it would have been North America, right?
Yeah.
Finding Nemo.
So 2008 Best Animated,
Yeah.
Ratatouille.
Oh, did I nail it?
Yeah, you did.
Unbelievable, dude.
Holy shit.
Unbelievable.
Holy
Yeah,
shit.
Pure coincidence.
Unbelievable, dude.
I fucking love that rat
Dude.
so much.
I prefer Rakakuni.
Yeah.
That's just me.
I don't know, dude.
Yeah, you haven't seen that movie?
No. What's that?
Don't worry about it.
Oh, wait, I haven't seen that movie.
You know, Rakakuni.
If you know, you know.
Yeah, you got me.
Yeah.
I remember now.
Yeah. Go watch Everything Everywhere All at Once, people, if you haven't.
Yeah.
You should have by now.
Yeah,
Everybody's
it
fucking
is a
seen that
fantastic
now.
movie.
All right.
But back to this
So,
movie.
two great movies that did win Oscars. We just talked about.
Fuck you.
It actually, Everything Everywhere All at Once just won a Golden Globe. It didn't win an Oscar.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's a crime.
Yeah. Oscars haven't happened yet.
Oh,
There you go. See?
whatever. It's winning. All right. Let's talk about. Have you taught us everything? Have you taught us everything we need to know?
I have that.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
You guys
Holy
can. You
fuck,
guys. You
what
guys
is wrong with us
you
right
guys
now?
Can,
Well,
you
we're
guys
about to
can
fight.
continue acting like insane people now, and I'll sit over here.
All right. Let's talk
Okay.
about the world. It's old timey Japan. Pretty
Guys, please
standard.
don't unsubscribe.
Yeah, sorry, guys.
Please.
I mean,
Actually-
maybe do for a little bit until we work out the kinks, but come back.
Now, this is what you guys subscribe for, is the crazy weird shit that we do.
Yeah, I hope, because we're doing it.
Yeah, we're not going to change. Let's be real here.
Okay. The
But
world
yeah, the world.
of Sword of the Stranger is pretty standard feudal Japan kind of shit with magical medicine.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's not a lot of magical.
No, but they just
medicine.
couldn't help themselves.
But it's like, so it's not far off as like it being like super magical where like, you know, you're actually throwing in supernatural shit. This is like people taking folklore and thinking that they can do something.
Yeah.
Right, like mythologies and stories, and you know what? Those tiny little pills,
Yeah.
are actually quite common in Asia. Because I remember as a kid, I could go to the Korean supermarket,
Yeah?
and you would have these tiny little pills that are supposed to be like give you energy.
But did they
Use it.
make it so that you could like lose a limb and not feel that
Well,
that happened?
no, but like,
Magic.
I mean, okay,
It's
fine.
magical.
but like, it's grounded in something, is what I'm trying to say.
Is it?
Yes.
It's totally grounded.
I
in
get what
something.
you're
It's
saying.
just amplified a little
Yeah,
bit, dude.
yeah.
For fun.
Anyways, that's the only thing that makes it not just straight up feudal Japan.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Am I right about that?
Yeah.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's talk about the art.
The art was fantastic.
The art was great.
The art, yeah, you can't argue about the art, man.
Cinematography specifically stood out to me. Some of the angles that would be camera angles if cameras were present. For
sure. Yes.
Those choices always impress me when you're animating because you don't have to think outside the box like that.
Yeah.
And you do. And that's impressive. I appreciate that.
Some really, really gorgeous landscape background paintings, matte paintings, I guess, if you were to
Sure.
describe it that way. But yeah,
Yeah.
super beautiful.
Yeah.
A little bit of odd, janky 3D.
Yeah,
Which
but
I
I think that's
think
a
is
product
timely.
Of the,
Is that what you're
product
gonna
of the
say?
time. But I think too, even with that janky 3D, like I think it can be easily missed when you're really submerged
saw
in it. Oh, fuck.
Immediately.
Where did you see it?
There was a scene where they were running through the forest, and they're running through a 3D forest for some reason.
Okay, yeah.
And then
I noticed
also-
it mostly in the camera movements.
Also, the temple, the like big wooden thing they're creating to do the sacrifice on
Yeah.
later on, is just a full-on 3D structure.
Yeah,
which was a little
Okay.
jarring.
Yeah, for me, it's characters switching in and out of 2D and 3D that I really can't
Yes,
stand.
I hate that.
That drives me
Yeah.
up the fucking wall.
I just think
if
in
there
a
are
mu-
some 3D elements in the environment or whatnot, like I can usually get past that. And for me, characters
Yeah.
need to be properly animated.
Yeah.
I agree. I just think in a movie that is like has such beautiful artwork, that's never beautiful when you throw a 3D like
Doesn't help.
thing in the middle there.
Especially at the time, where nowadays it's a little bit easier. But like, yeah, I agree with Jay.
They could just
where-
paint it, and it would have looked great. They could have just drawn it. And
what
it
they
would
would
look
do
fantastic.
now, what they would
Yeah.
do now is they would model it in 3D and then paint over top of it.
Sure.
Back then they weren't doing that. They were just using the raw 3D.
I'm not 100.
models.
Again, not an artist. I'm not 100% the decision to do it in 3D in the first place when they were doing already all this great non-3D art. I don't
Yeah.
understand the decision.
It would probably, like, I always boil it down to budget, right? Like, because if they had to take some corners in order to put more time into certain scenes,
Yeah.
right? Just having a 1 second scene of a landscape or forest or a
Yeah.
tower, right? Let's do that in 3D because that way we don't have to put X amount of time into it, and we can put that into more important things like keeping all the characters rendered properly.
Sure.
Right? Like the other thing for me is like Jay said, like I can't stand when it goes from like a main character to a 3D back to 2D. What I can deal with or at least tolerate is if they use background like extra characters as 3D, but that's more so in like series, right? Because those are like filler scenes, right? So, but in a movie where they have a bit more budget for an hour and a half, like
Yeah.
I don't, no
I
dice.
think if you're watching this with a super critical eye, kind of
Like I am with a pen and a paper.
well, like
Yeah.
we all are really
Yeah.
when we're doing these rewatches or whatever. Like, you'll pick up on that and you might notice it. But I think if you were just doing a casual watch, the character animations and the character drama is usually high enough that you probably won't really notice it.
You're probably right.
You know what I mean? You're kind of more watching somebody throwing a sword through somebody's face
Yeah.
than the fact that the structure they're on is 3D rendered.
There were a lot of cool things like that.
Yeah, there were.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
fight scenes, man. Like, look, dude. Like,
Yeah.
not only do you have a story, it's a classic tale as old as time story, and you have, then you bring in an element of like, these people are not actually Japanese, which was a little bit different for the time too, right?
Right.
Like, usually a period piece like this, everybody would be Japanese.
Yeah, there was a Japanese-Chinese kind of conflict going on.
Yeah, and not just that, but you also have a European dude, essentially, right? Like blonde
Oh,
hair.
yeah, true.
Right, like the main
They didn't really ever
antagonist.
say where he came from. He was just like mysteriously white.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like his build too. They talk
Yeah.
about his build.
Yeah.
European people generally have a much larger and thicker build than
Yeah.
Asian people, right?
Yeah.
So having that as well. Not to mention you have fighting styles that are like kung fu versus traditional samurai, like kenjutsu, and like
Some of them are reckless because they can lose limbs and not feel it.
Yeah,
It was wild.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And like it's just so fucking cool, man.
Yeah. I agree. The art, the cinematography, the choreography, even if you
Yeah.
want to call it that, was definitely like the cornerstone of this film, without a doubt, hands down.
The fight choreography is very stellar. There was a lot of thought.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of camera jumps through a lot of it, and if they are informing the motion of the fight, and they're moving you through the battle in a intelligent way. There's nothing worse than watching your hero on the screen moving right to left, and all of that momentum and motion moving in that direction, and then they camera switch,
Yeah.
and now he's coming from the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
I
now
know what
the
you mean.
flow of the scene has been completely broken, and you
Totally.
have to do a double take and be like, "Oh wait, that's
Where were we?
that's him.
Oh.
Now
Yeah.
we're over
Oh,
here
yeah,
in
yeah.
the room." And that right there will break things. And
Yeah.
and I noticed several times in this that they were really thinking about that.
There were moments where you as a viewer were the camera as if you were looking through the eyes of the character in the fight scene.
Yes.
There were moments where you were looking as if you were mounted on the arrow as it was fired.
Yeah.
And hitting a guy in the fucking
First
face.
person, man.
Yeah.
It's so good. So, like when used properly, like oh.
There's, I mean, the first scene with Lo Lang when he's just fucking up all of the
Dude.
soldiers.
Yes.
There's a few sequences where you almost feel like shoulder cam on him. And you're basically like right over his shoulder. Like you're following him as he's running through guy to guy, and you're just right over his shoulder through the whole thing. And you're just like, it's a very dynamic, cool view to see it from. You know?
Yep.
So
He's such a badass.
all just lends to the art, and this is just beautiful to look at. I was really, really impressed with how this looks.
Do you think Banksy was involved?
Most definitely, dude.
Sick.
Am I about to put in like a crazy long like intro for this podcast when I edit it?
Maybe.
Because of that.
I don't know.
No.
Well,
I mean,
we'll
this
see.
episode's fucking out
It's
the window
wild.
anyway.
This
so-
episode's wild. We're crazy, guys.
We're crazy.
All right.
Crazy. Yeah.
Let's talk about the music.
Music,
Because it was pretty
fantastic.
great. There was a lot of traditional Japanese kind of like of the time music going on. Also, like a lot of music that felt kind of like a Disney score in the lighter moments. You know what I mean? A lot of that kind of vibes.
If a traditional folk, Japanese music was written in Disney style and thematical styles,
Yeah.
this is what you got, and it totally sucks you into the whole thing too, right?
Yeah. I
And
felt it
what
helped.
Yeah, and exactly what you wanted to do. Usually, like, and then again, Jay and I were talking like off camera. Like, normally we talk about music being like, okay, it did its job, but this one like really amplified the movie, right? Like, so I don't know. I'm impressed with it. I mean, granted, I also have the nostalgia for it.
Yeah.
Right. Where neither of you guys have that on top of this.
No, and I also don't have a like. I'm not drawn to kind of like old timey Japan vibes in the same way that you are as well too. Both of you actually, I feel kind of connect with those vibes, and so the music probably really brought you into that thing you love, right?
Yes and no. I mean, for me, it was just the more dramatic, kind of climactic, cinematic moments. They just really went hard on the orchestral score.
went
and
hard.
it just
Very hard.
It just brought the moment, to another level. You know what I mean? Where
Yeah.
you had emotional weight, you had visual drama happening on screen, and then the music just ties it all together, and it's just fucking a pretty little bow. You know what I mean? And I just eat it up.
I am very biased towards any kind of thing that's samurai related.
You fully are.
Yeah, it's
I'm
so
expecting
hard.
an 8 or 9 out of 10 at the end of this from you.
Yeah,
Or
like-
maybe
like
8, 8.5, mid to high here. Okay, confession time. I watched the dub.
Yeah, I fucking knew you would.
I knew you knew that I would.
Yeah, I knew
it's
you would.
really bad.
Yeah.
Super lazy.
Yeah.
Really bad execution. I did find it interesting that the Chinese people speak Chinese and not everyone was just speaking Japanese.
Yes.
I appreciate
I
that.
really, really enjoyed that. And also, there's even in the sub, there's certain subs out there where you can have the sub to the Chinese and know what they're saying.
Yeah.
Or you don't get that same sub
Yeah.
and you don't know what they're saying. And it's like, I mean,
Don't
I'm
watch that.
Well, that's what happened to me. I'll be honest with you, that I had no idea what any of those guys were saying the whole time.
Yeah.
I don't think it really mattered all that much for me.
But
be honest with you.
it's two different movies at that point, right? Because when you have just the one perspective of knowing what people that are speaking in Japanese are saying, and then also knowing what people in Chinese are saying, right? You're seeing why they're motivated to do what they do. Where before you don't really understand what they're doing, and you're just kind of following along, hoping that this kid's going to be safe.
They do give it in the end. I think I knew all the ins and outs of what the Chinese army or whatever you want to call them was doing.
Yeah.
I just in the moments weren't privy to their conversations. And if I was going to say that it made anything, it didn't make me feel this, but it could have made me feel as if like I was on one side. You know what I'm saying? Like, because they didn't understand what the Japanese people didn't always understand what the Chinese people were saying in this movie as well too. So I'm like, oh, I'm one of them, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see how that would kind of reinforce that for sure.
It didn't for me, but I could also see how it could.
But like, it also adds to some of like the character drama as well, which is funny because you said that you felt like it was really shallow, but like I think the fact that Luo Lang like several times switches back and forth.
Is that No Name, by the way? Which one's that
the
guy?
blonde guy?
Blonde guy.
The white guy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He switches several times back and forth, and like there's a reason he switches back and forth, and what he says in each language differs, and like that's important to his character and
Yeah.
what he's choosing to reveal to his enemy and what he's saying only to himself.
Yeah.
Like that to me adds a lot to the character's complexity and depth, especially knowing that he's a Western person.
Yeah.
This is a Western person who has mastered Chinese and Japanese.
Yeah.
In the middle of this massive feudal battle that's raged on for centuries between China and Japan.
Yeah.
It gives so much historical context and depth to that character if you pay attention to that.
Yeah. I mean, I got in the end there was a delivery of that. That was clear, even if you didn't have the translations like I
Sure.
did. But
Okay.
yeah,
Good,
it would have
I'm
been
glad.
it would have been interesting to see that as things progress.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah. Sure.
I think it comes across a little more beautifully and artistically if you know what they're saying.
Probably.
And-
It was a
Yeah.
bit of a bomb drop in the end, and I was like, oh, at the end you're gonna tell me that? So yeah,
Yeah,
I can see that.
Yeah, you get like you were saying, like you get more of the character, you get the more depth of what he is and like who he is when you do hear his inner monologue and stuff like that, right? So
Yeah.
So like two knocks you have against this film being the bad voice acting and the lack of depth of characters could have just been solved by watching the sub.
No, not
yeah.
really, no. No.
Okay.
Not really.
How am I wrong?
The voice acting wasn't really a knock because, to be honest with you, I didn't really care. Didn't really bother me.
but like
And the
but
lack
you-
of character, like, didn't really involve him. To be honest with you, it involved the characters who I could hear what they were saying all the time, the whole time.
He's one of the most interesting characters in the entire
willful
movie.
ignorance, people.
Truly.
Willful ignorance.
Yeah,
You've chosen
Yeah.
this.
yeah, it feels good.
You've picked a side. You've,
I like who I
you've
am.
picked a
I like who I
side.
am. I don't need to be changed by you. Thanks for accepting me.
I do accept you.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Are we accepting things?
Yeah.
Oh, are we accepting it?
Yeah, you.
interesting.
Well, you should be accepting
Very
it.
interesting. Very interesting turn of events.
Yeah, I just feel defeated. That's what I feel. But for real though,
Excellent. Mission accomplished.
fuck you.
Is that a
okay.
tangent on music? What, like, how did we end up there?
Yep. Because I lumped in sound. So when I started talking about the
Voice
dub, because to
acting,
me,
the
I'm
dub,
like,
yeah.
sound, audio, music.
Yeah,
whatever.
not surprised the
Yeah.
dub sucks ass.
It's really bad.
Yeah, that's usually the case with dubs.
And especially
I mean, that's
like,
not true. I've seen lots of great ones. I've argued for many of them.
yeah.
This one I would not argue for.
Yeah.
No, it's
Honestly,
true.
though, I don't
Okay.
think like there's a few like 90s and early 2000 dubs that are like that do hold up.
Yeah.
But I don't.
People defend me on the internet.
Yes. I
hope you know that.
Yeah.
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 But I don't think dubs have really gotten good in anime until like the late 2010s. Like I really don't think that like it's kind of when the popularity really picked up and they were really able to kind of
Start caring.
start caring and refining it and whatnot. You know what I mean? But
Hey,
Yeah.
there's
I'm
a lot
still-
of really loved, successful North American voice actors out there who are
Yes.
doing the dubs for every fucking big thing out there, and people love and adore them and go meet them at conventions and shit. And that's great. That's not my world at
That's all right.
all.
How come it's great when you're talking about it in a context of other people, but when I say it, I get
shat on.
yeah. It's you don't like it when I say it.
Because they're
'Cause-
nice.
yeah,
Yeah.
we like
Oh,
them.
oh.
And also, they're not in front of us.
Oh yeah, I guess those are all good points. Good points, guys. Thanks.
let me put it this way: if they were sitting over there with you,
Yeah.
they'd be getting it just as bad.
You think so?
I do.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know. Actually, I don't think you would.
It depends
If they're
on
strangers,
Who, if it depends on who it is.
it makes me feel good actually because it makes me feel like you guys are comfortable enough and you care about me enough to like let your dark side show.
Well,
Like I'm
yeah.
a safe place for you guys, and I like that. I like it.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, good.
That's really sweet.
We'll go
Yeah.
with that. We'll
It
go
is
with that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Fine then.
Well, fine.
All right.
All right. Let's
Let's
just keep going.
talk about characters.
Characters.
Okay. Let's
Okay.
do it. I don't
ahead.
want to read what I have written here 'cause I'm gonna make it. Okay, so Kotaro,
Kotaro, yeah.
I found was like a very uninteresting version of a character we've seen a million times before.
Like who?
Like all the helpless little kids in every show ever who have a reason and a backstory, and he's just a kid who needs help.
But again, we have this argument every friggin' time we watch something that is like early 2000s or anything like that, where it's like you got to understand it's the product of its time, right? You've seen a lot of other things, and you're watching it with a critical eye, but without consideration of how maybe during that time it might not have been as saturated with that kind of story.
I'm just saying, dude, that like a product of a time isn't an excuse to like not do a good job. And I think that character was just uninteresting to me. I've seen that character better many times.
Yes. Dororo, for example, you have that character.
You saw that, right, Jordy?
You just named one I haven't seen, and you agree with me with that, let alone the ones I have seen.
Okay, Dororo was like fucking old, man. It's like from the 70s.
All right.
But like it's been around for okay.
Yeah,
fine.
Dororo. Yeah,
Yeah, okay. God
exactly my point.
God damn it. Okay. But yes, you got a bratty little kid, spoiled, and
Yeah.
like. But you can also say that about like certain Ghibli movies, right?
Yeah.
Like San is a bratty little kid from Princess Mononoke.
Yeah, I mean, no, she's very complex, dude.
Yeah, but she's also a bratty little spoiled kid.
I don't think you
like,
can compare this to that. I think that's not a good comparison. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think that's a good comparison.
I was kind of grasping at straws
Yeah, I think
there
you
for
were.
a second.
My brain was working. I'm like, how do I jump in and back him up on this? And I'm like,
No, you couldn't.
You also picked a movie that like we all rated like
I
9 out of 10.
Yeah, I was just in like argument mode. And
I know you are.
Yeah.
And I know you like this movie, and I know you like that archetype.
Yes,
But to me, it is an archetype, and this
Yeah.
is like a lower level version of the ones I've seen before. There wasn't a lot of depth, in my opinion.
I think it's as good as what I've seen before, but I will agree.
Mid to low tier.
I have seen this character many times at
Yeah.
Yes.
many different ages. I've seen this character in shows where he's 10 years older. I've seen this
Yeah.
character in
Yeah.
shows where he's 20 years older, but it's the same person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's that chip on the shoulder.
Yep.
Life dealt me a bad hand,
Yeah.
but I'm going to tough it out anyways.
Totally.
Mentality. And it's total main character energy.
yeah,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like this kid delivers that and he plays that role really well. But for me, my takeaway from this movie was the relationship he builds with our other main character.
Yeah.
Sure.
And less the kid's story. The kid's story to me is
Yeah.
like, it's a device.
Yeah.
It's not the story itself.
Well, the two of them are an archetype together.
Yeah,
And that's the story. It's not Kotaro.
No, it's
Yeah.
again, like we said, this whole story in general, very linear. It's been done before. It's the bodyguard Yojimbo story where you have a misfit or Ronin who needs to be redeemed in some way, and a person that's in need that needs to also be protected but has some weird complex history.
Yeah.
Right? Like we know that.
Yeah. We do know that. That's my
Yeah.
point.
Yeah. So so why can't you enjoy the other things that are part of this movie?
I don't know. It didn't do that for me. Let's talk about another character then.
Okay.
Moving on.
Moving on.
To talk about a guy who in the dub they just call him No Name.
Yeah.
Does he have a name?
It's Nanashi.
There's
which-
another name
yeah.
they call him. I can't remember. He had another name.
Yeah, but like Nanashi means no name.
Oh, okay. They call him No. They literally he goes, "My name is No Name,"
Yeah.
which is dumb as hell.
Yeah, and this it's like Nanashi. That means no name.
But
That's
it
what
also
we'll call
could be
you,
a name, right?
Nanashi. It
Yeah.
sounds
Yeah.
like a name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nuance to that. There's
Yes.
thought behind that.
Not No Name.
And you would
Yeah.
have got that in the sub.
But it was ironic because it was kind of like that yellow lack of branding version of a samurai movie that No Name offers you when you shop at No Frills.
This is a really
Yeah,
really bad joke, dude.
Yeah.
No, I'm
you
serious though.
You are.
The delivery on this one is
Yeah.
just not hitting.
I mean, it's hitting for me. People are gonna understand.
I'm
People are gonna understand what I'm talking
probably the
about.
closest I've ever been to leaving.
Wow, really?
No, I'm just kidding.
Go
I
get
know
a
you
job
are.
at No Frills.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, he is oddly like good spirited and agreeable for his
Yes.
character type. So he's a take on this character type that we don't always see. Usually they're like super hard.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Super reluctant. He like right away kind of is like kind of fun loving.
He's likable.
And
Yeah,
likable.
super likable.
I did kind of find that a little unbelievable because I'm so used to the other archetype. I was like, why does this guy doesn't have to give a shit at all.
No, but
He doesn't have to at all.
I mean, with his backstory, and like knowing his backstory after, and like you said, it could just be his temperament. Like if you're an agreeable person, you could go online and subscribe to us and like
Agreeable people. We need so many more of you right now, more than ever before. Please.
Save me.
Or save me. 'Cause I might be murdered by the end of this.
But yes, if you can like and subscribe or tell a friend, that would be lovely.
Mike, you actually fucking owned me with that one. Did not see that coming.
No, dude.
Forgot about
Nobody
it completely.
Nobody did.
Like a sniper.
Yeah.
Yeah, pew, pew.
Yeah.
Or
Excellent
an
work.
archer with pills. Don't give me silence.
Excellent hang. All right.
You bastards.
On the topic of characters, there were a lot of like secondary characters. We've talked about
Yes.
the two main characters. They're the
Yeah.
only two main characters. There's a lot of secondary characters.
Well, there's a third main character.
You're
Yeah.
talking about Whitey.
No, Toby Maru.
Okay. I guess so.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Toby Maru is a very important character.
But it's a side character still, though.
no,
Like,
he is the lifeline to our boy.
he's like, it's like the two guys, and he's like this little thing
No.
along with them.
No.
Okay.
Because he what's our little boy's name again?
Kotaro.
Kotaro.
Yeah.
Kotaro, that was his main hope in moving
Yeah.
forward and his
Yeah.
motivation.
It's his only real friend.
Right. Yeah.
Up
Right.
until then.
And all the way till the end.
Well, no, he makes another real friend.
Well, shut up.
It's also one of the main reasons why Kotaro is able to kind of cling to Nanashi a little bit longer
He has to.
after
Yeah.
they would normally have
He
split
has
up.
to for a minute there. Yeah.
Is he's like, you got to help me fucking save my dog.
Yeah. You're right.
And like that becomes kind of like a linchpin to the story moving forward.
Yeah.
So you don't really get this story unless Toby Maru's in the picture.
That's true.
Yes.
All right.
See? There you
Respect to the
go.
dog.
Fucking senpai.
Thank
Respect to the dog.
you. Thank you.
I like dogs. Anyways, aside from the three main characters we've
That's
now
what I
established.
like to
There
hear.
you go. There were a lot of secondary characters. I didn't make a ton of notes for them. They're all kind of plot driving characters.
Totally.
Yeah.
Um,
The only-
Devices.
Yeah,
Yeah.
devices. The only one that really mattered would be like the antagonists are
Lo
Blondie.
Lang.
Yeah. Yo Lang.
Lo Lang.
Lo Lang. Or
Yo
Blondie.
Lang.
Yo Lang.
What up, my
What
dude?
up?
Yeah, I agree. He's like the only other kind of like interesting one. I mean, there's other characters, but they're all like one note, one thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, you end up with Itadori, the general there, who really is trying to prove himself in the final battle, makes
Yep.
that big charge and stuff.
Huge
very,
move.
very,
Weird.
very noble. You know what I mean? Very like,
kind of stupid.
but
yeah,
like,
but he
that-
wanted
how-
glory, right?
I was
Yeah,
gonna
it's
say
kinda
those
dumb.
things are so commonly
Yeah, you're right.
intertwined, right? But
You're
either
right.
way, it was very dramatic and very
Yeah.
touching. But overall, I
Yeah.
didn't give a fuck about that guy.
No.
It didn't work. I was
No.
like, ah, dang.
Yeah.
Okay.
And his like assist, like his squire, like,
Yeah.
you know what I want? Well, you can have the princess. Right? Like I'm like, what? Totally part of the time.
Such a
Yeah.
good part of the movie. That was a great thing. that happened.
Well, I mean,
Yep.
it was feudal Japan, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, but
Anyways,
anyway,
we'll get into a lot of those characters as we go through the plot, which I assume we are going to do now.
no.
So the movie opens up. You see a dude and a kid and a dog, and they're running away from a burning temple. And the dude has to go back to make sure everyone else is okay, and the kid and the dog keep running. And that's how it starts.
Well, he gives the kid some instructions.
Yeah.
He says, you need to make it to this temple. You need to talk to these people. They'll help you.
Yeah.
If you run into any trouble, you can use this as payment. And he hands him a green
Oh, yeah.
cylinder.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
do you
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm remember. I watched this movie like 3 weeks ago before I like barfed my entire brains out of my body. So give me a break.
I'm just saying, that gifting of that
Yeah.
thing
What is that
the
thing, though? Is it
linchpin
just-
of the entire fucking movie, dude.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
We'll get
but
to
it's just
that. But
jade,
yeah,
right? It's
I think
just-
it's a piece of jade.
Yeah. I wouldn't call it a linchpin.
It's a pretty significant.
It's
man.
a cute little thing, a cute little moment.
No, it's
You
what-
literally have a main character death without this MacGuffin existing.
Yeah. Not to
You'll have
mention,
to explain that to me. I probably missed it.
not to mention, this
We'll
is
see.
what it like convinces No Name to actually be the bodyguard.
That's how he
Does
knows
it, though?
that's how he knows the kid has some worth to him, because he
Yeah.
looks at the piece of jade and he's like, Jesus, okay.
Interesting. I
This is worth something.
I took it differently. I took it that he was already kind of like liked the kid and was going to help him, and he was like just kind of entertaining the kid and be like, okay, you do have treasure. Cute. That's how I took it.
No.
I think he's a nice guy. I don't think he's that nice.
Yeah.
Especially
Okay.
at first.
Maybe.
Right, he like you said, he doesn't have any skin in the game.
Yeah.
He that one scene where they first meet and he like kills all the guys and
Yeah.
like this is messed up. I don't want to be here. So you good. I hope you get through this, kid. And then the kid's like, well, here you can, get 10 gold reviews for this.
Yeah.
Right, like
I think maybe I thought that because I already thought the guy was being nicer than I thought he should have been being. And so this was just another, I was like, oh, okay, they've clearly written this like way too nice guy. And so
Yeah.
that's the way I
no,
took
but
it.
that
was-
scene
he
was
was-
happenstance.
And
Yeah.
he was still ready to give the kid away to those monks, like without
Yeah.
really a second thought. He wasn't really sad about it or anything. He was just packing his horse up, and he's like, "All right, job well done. Kid's
Yeah.
good to go. I'm
Yeah.
out of here."
Yeah.
He didn't think about it or stop. He didn't pull like a Mandalorian Grogu or any bullshit like that. It
I
was
kind of
just
felt like he did.
Yeah.
No, he only came
Yeah.
back because the horses started running and shit was popping off, and he realized something was up. There was
Okay.
danger. That's why he ran back. Otherwise, he was packing his horse
And get
and
the
he
fuck
was
out of
saying,
there?
"See you later, kid. I'm
Yeah.
fucking out of here."
Because the kid's like, this is my house. Get the fuck out of my house.
Because he got his, but yeah, and he got his payment. Well,
Yeah.
that was it.
Yeah.
Job well done.
Yeah.
So I think it's both. I think he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
But I also don't think he was going to help that kid to the extent he did if he didn't get payment.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
He's a nice guy.
Alright.
Doesn't mean he's a nice guy.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay, so
I don't know if that works.
it doesn't.
I love the attempt.
I love
but
that it
don't
doesn't.
know.
Though.
Yeah.
It's better that it doesn't.
You might be right about that. Yeah.
Okay, so kid and dog are like on the run. They run into a bunch of like drunk and dirty samurai who are like lazing about, and suddenly out of nowhere, some guys run in and is like, "Hey, we're gonna go do an ambush. We gotta go right now." And there's like they're bandits, I guess, and then there's
Yeah.
like this is where you get that rain of arrows, and it hits the dude right in the neck. The first taste of violence you get is an arrow through a guy's neck, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, sick."
Blood explosion.
Here we
Yes.
Yeah.
And it turns out the people they're trying to like attack and rob are escorting some powerful warrior who turns out to be
Low lying.
Lo Lang, and he takes out everybody.
Yep.
He just wins the fight. He's the winner.
Now, they were transporting
Bailuan.
That's right.
Yeah.
But he's accompanying as well.
Low lying
right?
is the
yeah.
one that you're really being introed to in the scene.
yeah.
You're right.
Exactly.
It's like
Yeah.
it's politics, but we don't really care about the politics in this
Yeah.
movie at all.
It's background noise.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so the kid and dog, we just talked about this whole scene. They're squatting in some abandoned house, and the Ronin is squatting in their squat.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like a little meet cute.
It is
Yeah.
neat cute.
It's really cute.
And the kid even tries to front with him. He's like, "I've been here way longer
Yeah,
than you.
get out of my. What are you doing?
I've
in
been
my
here for
house?
days."
It's time to go,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. This is my spot."
Yeah, exactly. And the guy's like, "All right, kid. Sure." Yeah.
It's adorable.
Somewhere in and around here, we find out what's happening with the political conflict. There's like the Chinese are building some sort of compound in Japan. And
Yes.
people don't like that. And there's something about medicine that's kind of unclear at this point. We don't really know yet.
They're building a temple. Yeah.
Yeah.
And nobody knows why until they torture the fuck out of something.
We know they're not happy about
Yeah.
it. We know it's not happened before. It's some sort of
Yeah.
big deal.
Yeah, because the political side of this is Japan thinks that they're building a temple,
Yeah.
and they're getting money from it and offerings from China,
Yeah.
right? And so they're allowing it to happen,
Right.
right? And then, but I mean, obviously, it's
Yeah.
way more dubious than that.
Totally. We'll find that out later. Also, for some reason, we find out the soldiers are looking for Kotaro. We don't know why. They're targeting him for some reason. We have no idea why. We'll find that out later. Anyways, they come to the house. The Ronin ends up defending the kid. He crushes a dude's jugular with his staff, which is another
Dude.
like great piece of murder.
It wasn't a staff.
It was in the staff.
What was it?
It was a sheathed sword.
Yeah.
All right, it's a thing.
No.
No, it's
There's
not.
Oh, you're right. Because my next note is it's foreshadowing
there's importance as
because
to why.
he doesn't use his sword.
Yes.
I didn't miss everything.
Yeah. Okay.
I just missed
Fucking
a
Lord.
couple of important things.
But that scene where he fucking goes through the jugular with
Yeah,
that,
yeah, yeah, it
like,
was
it was
great.
fucking sick.
It was good.
It
Good
was
old crushed
sweet.
jugular.
Yeah.
Good old crushed jugular. Okay,
Fucking
and then oh no,
good old throat punch.
Oh no, the dog is sick, and we're sad. And the kid hires the Ronin to take him to this healer to heal the dog, and pays him with the jade log, which they call treasure. And he's like, I guess, yeah, okay, it's payment, but also he's like super condescending in a cute way about it. He's like, oh yeah, you got treasure, kid. Look at that. Look at you. You're rich, buddy. It's kind of cute. They get there. Dog gets fixed up. It's kind of emotional. The kid is like spitting baby birding water into his dog's mouth because the dog's, not doing good. But it's okay.
Wait. For here, I want to hear your opinion on this for a second.
Okay.
You have a dog that you love.
Yeah.
If your dog gets poisoned, are you not gonna spit water into his mouth to try to help them if that's what's needed to happen?
I have cups and a water
There are a lot
bottle.
of other ways you could deliver the water.
Oh, I'm just saying in that scenario.
Yeah,
if
in
you
that
did-
scenario, yes.
Okay.
If Jordy was 8 years old,
Yep.
Yeah.
Alone.
unable to think up a better way to
All
deliver
alone.
the water
A little delirious.
I'm just saying.
near
okay.
a body of water, then I think he might do it.
You know what I mean? Yeah, you're right. I think I might.
Don't you give me that.
I think I might.
I'm not. That's the situation
You're right.
you'd have to find yourself in.
Yes.
The point is,
But the point is-
yes, Mikey.
Yes, you would help your dog.
He loves his dog.
I love
Yeah.
my dog. Okay, so on our way away from this area, the kid and the Ronin are split up for a little bit here for a second, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the Ronin is walking on the street. He gets stopped by a scary blonde, blue-eyed white dude, and they just fight
Yeah.
out of nowhere.
So this is the whole like the key exchange. So in a lot of like martial arts or like in movies where people who are warriors can just sense that another person is also a fighter or a warrior. They just kind of have a demeanor about them and
Warrior
energy.
magic. Warrior magic.
It's not even that. It's like it's intuition and instinct.
It's magic.
Bro, it's like when you walk down the street and
Yeah.
you think somebody's sketchy.
Yeah, but they're like acting sketchy.
Well, not even sketchy. You just get a vibe from people. You can get vibes.
Yeah, you're right.
Right? So he just got a vibe.
All right.
What?
I don't know.
think
I don't know.
he,
I feel like you're just giving him side eye. That's why.
I'm not. I'm literally just sitting here.
I think my thought was like maybe he noticed something about the sword. Like it's
That
a
was
sword he's seen
my
before.
read. They really they zoom in on the sword several times
Yeah.
and then back
Yeah.
on Lo Lang's face.
Yeah.
And then he just stops and he's like, I want to have some fun. And it's
Yeah,
like, why
that's what
would
he
he
says.
stop to have some fun with a stranger if he was unarmed? Because
Yeah.
that wouldn't be fun for Lo Lang. Lo Lang's
No.
whole deal is that he's looking for a worthy fight and a worthy
Yeah.
adversary. So
Yeah.
he had to have seen something.
He saw something.
Yeah, but that doesn't that also speak to the fact that he gives off a vibe by having a sword that's tied to his sheath?
Right, but it's the sword
Yeah.
that is triggering him to hop off his horse and fuck with him, not as much the vibe. I think
Mikey, you want it to be magic.
you want it to be the vibe.
I wanted to be the vibe.
Nanashi has a vibe, don't get me
Yeah,
wrong,
yeah.
but I think at that point in time, if anything, Nanashi was trying to not
Lay low.
Yeah.
give the vibe.
I think so too.
He was but I think it's because he knew he got the
Yeah.
vibe off the other guys.
Yeah. Yeah, he got the vibe off the other guys, and he was trying to take his vibe.
That's the problem. There's so much
and hide it
vibing
in a
going
different
on.
vibe.
There's so much vibing
But
going
you can't
on.
hide a vibe from a viber.
Viber's got a vibe.
A viber goes by, and you're vibing. He's catching your vibe.
It's all about the vibe.
He's catching your
man.
vibe.
Viber's got a
If
vibe.
we vibe, we vibe.
Don't hate the Viber. Hate the vibe.
No, but take your fiber.
Well, yeah. For healthy bowel movements. Hold on, hold on.
This is it. This is it, guys.
This is it.
This is my last episode.
Hey.
I'm done after this.
Well, you're going out on a fight scene that is like accompanied by a fisherman watching some kids playing ancient Beyblades.
Yeah.
I was also dying at the ancient Beyblades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
Okay, this fight actually ends in an interesting way because it ends kind of prematurely because whoever the political person that our like a whitey warrior is riding with goes, we got to go. There's something going on.
Yeah.
And he goes, all right, and leaves, which doesn't give No Name, or what is his name?
Nanashi.
No Name. Doesn't give No Name a chance to pull his sword or not pull his sword.
Yeah.
He didn't get an opportunity to even not pull it or not. So we, at this point, don't realize necessarily that not pulling his sword is a thing.
I do.
Yeah.
Oh, you caught on?
Well, as soon
Every
as-
single person that he's fought with, he has not used the
But
sword.
he's only had like one fight so far.
yeah, but you also see it tied to the sheath.
Well, you guys are smart.
and
And
like,
I'm not.
and
perceptive.
that first fight, where he crushes the
Yeah.
Ming warrior's throat.
Yeah.
There were other like lesser soldiers there
Yeah.
that he was fighting as well, and I noticed right away because I couldn't wrap my head around
Why wouldn't slice him down?
why he wouldn't slice this guy down and instead decided to take his sword,
Yeah.
scoop up the pot of boiling food
Yeah.
by the handle,
Yeah.
and use his sword to then fling the pot of hot food at the guy's head.
I just thought he was like showing off.
But that,
He's just kind of a prick that way.
I mean, he does give off that energy.
and he totally was.
Yeah.
That was what he was doing. But
Yeah.
I'm like, this is 2 times now where I've taken note of his non-sword kills.
Yeah.
I knew something right then was up about him not using
All
the
right.
sword.
I didn't notice.
That's
but
okay. You never do.
No, you're right. I'm okay with it. It's nice over here, guys. What did you say? Willful ignorance?
willful.
It's like a warm blanket I put on, and I'm so cozy in there. Okay, so no name
fucking Dutch
and
oven you.
don't fart in my willful ignorance. I'll murder you with a sheathed sword. Okay, no name and the kid make kind of friends-ish. It's starting to happen. They're bathing like in a pond or pool or whatever, and he's kind of explaining why he won't. He's explaining that he won't pull his sword out, but not why.
Yeah.
He shows that it's tied up. He says basically all he says is his country was destroyed and he won't serve any more lords. Mm-hmm. That's not his vibe anymore.
He
does vibe,
Yeah.
but not that vibe.
Yeah.
He explains a little bit more about his backstory.
He talks about his names. They call him Red Hair or the Red Demon.
Yeah.
And he uses that dye to make his hair black.
And
also,
he explains that he was shipwrecked as a young child
Yes.
and was just found, and
That's right.
He doesn't know anything about where he's actually from.
that's right. Also, like, Red Demon's a way better name than No Name. I know he has to pretend he's not that,
Yeah,
but like No Name's a shitty name.
yeah. Nanashi's way better.
Nanashi is
it
way better.
Too bad his name is No Name.
Yeah, if you watch the shitty dub.
They have a really I'm ignoring you. They fight off a botched like ambush by a bunch of like legitimate ogres. And then they ride off on horseback on the beach, and the kid goes, "It's right, you're right, it does feel like flying." And I saw the inside of my own head in that scene because it was ridiculous.
I thought it was a touching scene.
No, my eyes rolled back into the back of my
And the
head.
delivery is definitely way less lame
Yeah.
in Japanese.
It was really lame in the dub.
Yeah, I mean,
I should have watched the sub, I guess.
you have
Weird.
a kid who hasn't experienced anything like that before, and like you don't have cars, you can't, or planes, right? Like,
Yeah.
and being on horseback and riding like as freely like that, even now,
Yeah.
like right, like if you were on horseback and you were riding as fast as you could, it's still a great feeling.
Yeah, I'm not saying that doesn't agree. I'm just saying the delivery was like very heavy-handedly. Like, here's your moment that you've been waiting for between these two.
But
Here
this,
it is.
that is the movie. This is the whole thing. This
Yeah,
is
that's
the
my
movie.
point. That's my point.
Yeah, that's my point too. Is that that's not why we love this movie. You're not supposed to love this movie because you're getting heavy-handed storytelling.
You're right, and that's why I didn't love this movie.
Oh my god.
Anyways,
Anyway.
we finally find out about the medicine. It's called Shin medicine.
Xian.
It's some
Yeah.
sort of immortality elixir. They talk, and they need the blood of a living child, a very specific one who's chosen every 100 years. So, this is very fucking arbitrary. Okay, the chosen times when the ritual can be created. There's a random clock that tells them the times. No info at all about how they know who the chosen child is or why Kotaro is it. It just is it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Plot devices. All it's doing is driving the plot forward, and it doesn't fucking matter.
But
dude.
like, what a
Yes.
missed opportunity to make a character that I actually care about, who has
Totally.
some sort of backstory that involves him in all this, as
I
opposed to
agree.
just hey, he's the one.
Actually, that is my one gripe with this movie, that I would like to have seen Kentaro's like backstory a little bit more, and like because he does speak Chinese, right, in the movie, like at the end there, and so
Because
like
he's the chosen one.
because he's the chosen
What does that
one, and,
mean?
like
Why and how?
like how did he get there? I would have liked to seen that a little
Yeah,
bit more and
same.
it being fleshed out. So that's my only one little gripe. But the other things, like Jay was saying, it's a plot device. It's just to keep things moving along. Because again, it is definitely a tale as old as time. Stars align. Need to do this thing. Get
Yeah.
immortality.
I just feel like you can take a tale as old as time and like do it good.
Yeah, like Belle.
No, not like that. They took a tale as old as time and did it poorly.
dirty.
Okay, so after this scene, Kotaro is finally returned to his old master. His buddy No Name takes him. He gets his payment, his little jade log. he's like, okay, see you, kid, bye now. And the guy's like, oh, you're back, whatever, great, good to see you. And he's happy, everyone's happy. And then we find out this motherfucker sold him the fuck out.
Yeah.
He basically sold him off to the Chinese like warriors or whatever the fuck they are. I don't know what they are.
Yeah,
But-
they're Ming Chinese from the Ming Dynasty.
Okay. Anyways, they want his blood for their ritual. And so he ends up biting off a soldier's finger.
Yeah, it was sick.
And the soldier is
That was
on
sick.
this magical medicine, so he doesn't feel it. Yeah, and then out of nowhere, the Japanese samurai ambush the situation. There's this crazy battle going on in the walls, and Kotaro's like tied up.
Yeah.
Correct?
So this is where like so they came to get Kentaro, but this is also where the Japanese soldiers kind of figured out
Yeah.
what was happening,
That's
and
right.
then they tried to get
So
him
like,
back.
no, fuck
right?
these guys. Yeah. They don't really know what's happening. They're just like, oh, they want this kid. They can't have him.
Yeah, essentially.
Well, they kind of know because they've been torturing the shit out of that poor Ming Chinese
Oh
guy.
yeah,
right?
I forgot about that torture because
That's how the
You're
Japanese
right.
know what's happening.
You're right. They know about the drugs.
And that's why you're not really supposed to be on like either side of the political
Yeah.
strife because they both suck.
They all suck.
yeah.
Yes.
They're all shitty. Anyways, okay, so No Name runs back in.
Yeah, he sees the
some shit going
commotion
down.
and
We
he's
should
like,
just call him
something's up.
Nameless. I feel like Nameless is better.
Well, that would have been great, except they called him No Name.
Yeah.
We'll
I
call him
mean,
Nameless.
I feel like 99% of the people who watch this who have taste
Yeah.
know him as Nanashi.
It's just a shame that they chose to call him No Name then. I don't know. That's weird. Okay, so he runs in.
Shots fired.
Sorry. I'm getting mixed up. Kotaro and the like lord, the like guy who helped sell him out or whatever, are kidnapped
Yes.
by the Japanese.
Yeah, the head priest.
By the Japanese? Chinese? No, the Chinese get him.
Yeah.
Chinese have him. So they've got him. And No Name runs in and interrogates Kotaro's old master. He's like, yo, what the fuck? You sold him out. How could you do that? And Kotaro's like, I have to. They have my family. He's kind of a coward. I know he had to do what he had to do, but he's like kind of a piece of shit. And then he hangs himself, and I'm like kind of okay with that. But before that happens, No Name draws his sword and slices this guy's robe off and basically says like, you're not fit to wear this. And he has a quick flashback to something.
It's not his sword.
It's not his sword though. Yeah.
What do you mean?
That was somebody else's sword.
Oh, was
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed it.
Yeah. The only time he ever actually.
We'll get to it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we'll get to it. I thought it was his. They made a big deal out of the fact that he did it. And so I just assumed it was
Because
his.
it's still a very dramatic thing to
Yeah,
cut
he
a
hasn't
monk's,
used. He also
a monk's
hasn't
robe
used
off.
a
Yeah.
sword yet, so
Exactly.
it was a big deal.
But it
Anyways.
was a big deal that also that it
Yeah.
wasn't his sword, and I was again reinforced like yes, there's meaning to this.
Okay.
Once
Yeah.
again, he could have used his own and didn't.
Interesting.
Why?
I missed that.
Why?
Why did I miss it?
No, I'm just reiterating
Oh.
why.
Yeah, yeah.
You're
It's-
wondering at that time because he's brought it up once before. He's
Yeah.
done it several times.
Yeah.
It's just reinforcing again. This is important.
Yeah.
This is important. Anyways.
Okay. I'm making Jay mad now. Okay, so we flip over to like at the temple they've been creating, and white dude's name is
Low Lang.
Low Lang.
Okay, white dude is carrying the kid up the altar, and Kataro randomly speaks Chinese out of nowhere.
yeah.
And I don't know what he says because there's no subs, but I don't think it matters. It just matters to know that he can speak Chinese. I think,
Yeah, this
right?
is kind of where you
Yeah.
see why, or like where some of that like
Yeah.
reasons why he's the chosen one.
Yeah.
That
So-
there's more to him.
Yeah. Agreed. I don't know why. You never find out.
Yeah, there is a lot of just like that background lore that's
hate
kind of
it.
just left hanging.
I don't like it.
You know what I mean? Because obviously, like this prophecy and the power within it, it has to be real. And it's obviously significant enough that it's spanning between both Japan and China, two countries that have notoriously hated each other for their entire
Yeah.
existence. So, like, why is it that there's all of these interweaving, interconnecting pieces with this kid who can speak both, and he's significant to both cultures?
Yeah.
He's chosen one to both cultures.
Yeah.
What is this unifying, tying lore
And-
that's hanging over the story?
Totally. And again, they like you said, it has to be real because they have like lower forms of the drug they're trying to make. So you know that they can do that, right? So you
Yeah.
have to assume that if they pull the ritual off, they're going to get what they're trying to get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just we chalk it up to it's my favorite thing. It's unexplained magic. I love when they have unexplained magic,
Yes,
which
we
is
know
why
you
I
do.
loved this movie so much. So
Well, but okay. Here. If you look at it in the perspective that like you were just dropped in, because like a lot of anime does this to you, right? Like you're dropped in, you don't know what's going on, and you're just on a ride, right? Like say for example, we get dropped in here, and we're like a little GoPro, and you get stuck on fucking Nanashi's shoulder for the whole time. You don't know what's going on, but you get these pieces and snippets, right? Right. So if you watch it like that,
you get some of them.
yeah.
Sometimes you don't get it.
Yeah, but then at the same time, it's like, what the fuck? Like, would you still not be interested in how this is going to end and where this is going?
I would have been more interested if they gave me something.
They gave you lots. Moving
All right.
on.
Yeah, we'll get in the weeds about that if we don't. Okay, so the Japanese army are prepping a siege against the temple. The Chinese are all on drugs, and they come to a head outside the wall, basically. And the Lord who was kidnapped gets like lifted up. Essentially, he's being crucified. He's like tied up on a giant pole as like kind of a warning. And he's like, "Oh, great, my army's here. You got to save me." And the general who's leading his army is like, "Actually, no," and kills that guy.
Yeah.
And he's like, "I'm in charge now, and I'll have all the glory, please." And all his army's like, yeah, he is in charge now. We're with him now. Just like that.
But that makes sense to me.
Does it?
Because think about it. You have a lord
Yeah.
who oversees like his territory, but that
Yeah.
isn't actually leading people.
You're right. He does look like a fat piece of shit.
Right, like he's more of a
Yeah.
dictator, where you have a general who's there at the front lines with everybody fighting. People trust him to bring him back alive. X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Right, like that makes sense. Like, why wouldn't you want that?
Totally. No, you're right. I agree with you there. It just kind of sucks because that guy is an idiot. And he just like rushes the fucking temple, and there's flaming arrows. So now everything's on fire for effect, which is cool. You had to have a town on fire when everything's made of wood,
Yeah.
for a final battle.
Of course.
And this time, what's also crazy is like the Japanese under this general, because all he cares about is glory. He doesn't give a shit about saving the kid. He just wants all the Chinese gone. And I'm like, oh, it's proper old timey racism again. We got there. We got there.
I honestly, I immediately, like, as soon as I started watching this, I was just like, this will be interesting to see how
Yeah.
a Japanese production handles a movie about the Japanese fighting the Chinese.
Yeah.
I mean, they've done it for centuries now. They've
Yeah.
made
Totally.
however many movies about it. And it just, in my experience, is never a glowing representation.
Yeah, and this
Yeah,
one,
and
they were
yeah.
doing a good job because it was all under the guise of this mythical lore of this chosen kid and the medicine, and they're like, oh, we need to stop them from doing that.
Yeah.
But then there's just at the end they just.
But ultimately, what I'm getting at is like I was a little worried at first, but
Yeah.
I think by the end, I felt like it was handled mostly with like tact
Sure.
and with like, grace.
Yep.
yeah.
While still portraying a war that actually happened, a
Sure.
real one
Yeah.
that was nasty and was awful.
I think the reason they were able to do it gracefully is because they just really didn't get that deep into it. They just didn't really
No.
give it that much gumption. They didn't really give it that much
Surface
level.
substance. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
Yeah,
it was
because that
fun.
wasn't really the main focus, right?
No. What you called it something earlier. It was just background. I think it was just the background to the main story, which is our two guys. Which, by
device.
the way,
Yeah.
speaking of our two guys, No Name shows up again. He's back now. He immediately gets buried in rubble, and we get his full flashback to his story about what happened, and it sucks.
Yeah.
He helped his lord win some battle, and basically gets ordered to kill some kid and the kid's mom or sister.
No, so in a lot of like feudal Japan, or just even in any kind of warring state in like feudal Asia,
Yeah.
if you take over a territory and you have people that are royalty within that territory,
you kill him.
yeah, all the way to the children, because then it helps reduce the risk of a rebellion because they don't have anybody to rally behind.
Yeah.
So, but because he had to do that with the kids and like seeing the kids, right? Like it really hit him hard, and it is wild, right? Like why wouldn't you? Like nowadays, it's like okay, well, you could strip them of their power and class, but But back then, it was very much so definitive, like
Totally. Well, how many of these movies are about that kid who didn't get killed and has to come back and get revenge?
yeah, right.
That's
usually
usually
of
the
them.
story. Yeah.
yeah.
All of them.
That
Yeah.
would have been pretty interesting if
Yeah.
they did something like that.
Would have been derivative again, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it would have been something, some sort of backstory.
Yeah, like I
for the
mean,
kid.
there's this anime right now that's called Kingdom, and it's like pretty much like that.
Yeah.
Right, like coming back and retaking the kingdom essentially. But
Vinland Saga.
Vinland Saga
It's the
too.
same-
Yeah,
same thing.
Fucking, I love Vinland Saga.
sounds very original.
Dude, Vinland Saga is amazing, man.
But it's not original.
No, it is because it's Vikings. It's peak.
It's
Vikings.
peak. I've never seen a story about Vikings before.
It is literally the same story that every other Vikings movie or show has told. The Northmen literally is Vinland Saga. Literally. It's literally the exact same one for one.
Vikings here.
No, but
I'm just saying,
It's
originality is it's not always what you're there for. And,
it's
listen,
true.
it sucks. I wish every movie could have all of it.
Uh-huh. Everything being
Rich
original.
story,
Yeah.
super in-depth characters, deep full backstory, no loose ends, no plot holes, incredible art, moving music. It doesn't fucking happen, man.
Yeah.
So if you know it's not going to happen, you can choose to either cling to the things that they're doing really well or pick apart everything they're doing wrong.
That's what I'm gonna do.
And I know,
I love doing that.
and I don't know who's having a better time watching those movies.
Yeah.
But I think I am.
You're gonna be surprised at while I score these movies low, I enjoy watching them because I like thinking about how I'm gonna tell you guys how much it sucks. So I have a really good time watching things like this.
You fucking
I like
sadistic.
I like getting high on my own supply a lot.
Yeah. So I get you. I just think when it comes to like full on true enjoyment for movies and TV and fiction in general, like something that I've seen a million times before isn't going to do it for me most of the time, even if it's beautiful.
You're prioritizing story over
Yeah.
everything else.
I am.
And that's the choice.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's nice in my blanket. Mike, you don't fart in here. Okay. Okay, so time's up on the clock thingy, and it's not No Name to the rescue. It's Tobimaru to the rescue.
Yes.
He runs to the top of that fucking altar and bites that motherfucker up there.
My boy.
While
But guys, remember, not a main character.
Not a main character.
I mean,
Anyways, only saves the entire fucking day. But go ahead.
I mean,
keep going.
He's a good boy. He's a good boy.
Yes.
While this is all happening, the Japanese and Chinese are just completely eliminating each other. Like they're gonna, you see it happening. They're gonna kill each other down to a man.
Some of the best fighting.
Some of it. I don't love a lot of those weird assassin characters on the Chinese side.
I love that,
I
man.
I just didn't.
Okay, look, I understand with.
They just didn't matter in the end.
No,
It didn't
okay,
matter.
no, okay.
A couple cool fight scenes, but like,
See, I think this is where I'm going to make this correlation where I think it might change your opinion, and if it doesn't, fuck you. It's it's essentially it had a bit of the Fire Nation vibe.
you're talking Avatar: Last Airbender?
Yeah, right. When you look at them and their attire, they have a bit of that Fire Nation vibe in the way that they fight too.
Okay.
Right, like assassination, the way their movements, right? Like think of arrows instead of fire, but like it totally gives off that vibe, and it's so cool.
I mean, it did give off that vibe, but like I spent 3 seasons watching the Fire Nation and learning about them and the specific characters as well too. I think these were throwaway characters for a good fight, which was fine, but I didn't need them to be important to get a good fight out of them. They could have just been any old soldiers, and I would have got a cool fight scene.
Yeah, but your complaint to me right before this was that you didn't like their assassination look,
No, it wasn't the look. I just didn't like them.
Their inclusion.
Yeah.
their inclusion.
Yeah.
See, for me,
But
like
they looked fine. Yeah, they looked fine.
I thought they were cool, and that's kind of why they bug me because I wanted
More of
More
them.
of them.
They kept showing them throughout
Yeah.
the story here and there, and I'm like, when are they going to become really important?
They also were like,
Yeah.
they kept talking about, it was as if they were leading them up to the big battle.
Yeah.
And it was quick and
And that's the thing.
Short.
And don't get me wrong, their fighting was electrifying. Their weapons were fucking crazy. Some of their kills were some of the best in the entire fucking movie.
Yeah.
But I was also like, why them?
Yeah,
Who
it's
are
like
they?
when there's
Still, who are they? It's the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Who are they?
who are all these motherfuckers?
You
at the end
wanted
this
more of
movie?
that standby action where they're talking about like why this one person is like always fawning over Lo Lang and like why they're part of the team.
Yeah, they just all had
Yeah.
little hints of storylines.
That
Little
could have
hints of
been-
storylines.
Yeah.
Integrate them into the story a little bit more instead of having them just being kind of hanging off the side of the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the time or the space to do that in the film, then like
Leave 'em out.
I was gonna say maybe you don't include them because
Well, like-
I think there was plenty of great fighting and action scenes aside from them as well.
Their
to
fight
hold
still
up
could
this
have
movie.
existed, but they could have just been any old soldier on the painless drug
Sure.
who fights well.
See-
and it would have been just
Or
as good a
extend-
fight scene.
Extend the fight with Lo Lang and Nanashi at the end,
Totally.
and let Nanashi fuck around with some of those crazy chain weapons that they were using and
sure.
stuff. You know?
Okay, yeah, that would have been cool.
Yeah.
But I do think that they still needed to do that team to differentiate. Like if you had every like Joe Blow army dude like with the same armor, same look, whatnot, you needed something to differentiate
I
them.
get
right?
their
So that-
purpose. They were the elite team.
yeah,
You needed an elite team.
exactly.
I guess. It's like because you have to tier up, right?
Yeah.
You need an
up
elite
to that last
team.
battle. Nah, they
Lo
wanted. They
Lang is
wanted.
the elite team.
Yeah, okay.
By himself.
You're right.
Singular.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's get to the last couple points of this fight scene because a lot's going on, okay? No Name throws the sword up to the top of the thing and takes out that big guy.
I had tears fucking
Yes.
pouring out of my
You're
face
crying,
at this
eh?
moment. The music, dude, at that moment
Uh-huh.
was incredible.
All right.
And then he that shot of them zooming in
Yeah.
on that fucking sword as the fucking ropes rip
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he pulls, man, and it just splits apart and you're
Yeah.
just like, yes, we're come, finally.
Yeah.
All this build up this whole movie. And
Yeah.
and not only that, like he doesn't pull some like Matrix jump 800 feet across
No, he
for a
just throws
slash.
it.
Yeah.
He fucking throws this thing through the guy's face.
Yeah.
But he's about to do it and just samurai sword
Slink.
through
Yeah.
his fucking face. I
Go
was
right
like,
into the skull.
Yes.
All right.
it's incredible, man.
Yeah.
It was an amazing moment.
I'm glad you loved it.
Yeah.
It didn't have that kind of impact to me.
Not even with like the foreshadow. Or
It was
like,
fine. I saw it coming. I knew it was going to happen.
like loosening, and he knows he has
Yeah.
to tighten it. And like
I saw all that.
Yeah.
I watched it happen.
Did you recognize it as an important
Yeah.
cinematic kind of moment?
Totally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
We got there.
Nice.
We all got there.
Good.
Okay, what else is happening? The fucking Lo Lang is fighting the new shogun, I guess, the new guy from who killed his
Yeah,
lord.
the general.
Yeah, and then the old man just kills him with a shotgun.
Yeah.
Dead.
Well, that's becoming
Yeah.
a trend.
Yeah.
This guy.
Yeah.
He keeps walking up and just shooting people and telling Lo Lang to go do something else. And
Yeah.
Lo Lang's like,
Guy, stop.
dude,
Yeah.
Yeah.
this is my one thing I want.
Yeah. I also don't care about any of you.
No.
But I don't
Yeah.
care about anything you have to say.
Hey, he's very efficient in that way.
Totally. Okay, so No Name is fighting the non-important Chinese warriors that I don't care about. He gets blood in his eyes. He falls off the building. He's saved by Kotaro, which is like a nice little turn of the tables here. And then out of nowhere, the white dude who previously was hanging out and working with the Chinese starts killing them. He kills one of the warriors and the old dude.
Well, he kills the old dude because the old dude's about to shoot Nanashi.
Yes.
Nanashi
Yeah,
is
and he-
clinging
exactly.
to the edge, and he's like, "Not again!
Nah,
You're not
man,
taking
no."
him from me
Because all
this
he
is
really
my
wants,
one guy."
All he really wants is a good fight.
And this is his guy. And now he finally recognizes Nanashi as that good
Yeah,
fight.
I just want a good fight. That's all I'm
Yeah.
here for. Which
Yeah.
to me is like kind of a dumb and like overused like trope
But it's
in a warrior.
But
I just want to fight.
It's so
I-
common though.
It's
like
the warrior's way.
It's the
I know.
warrior's way.
I hate
It is because he doesn't take the medicine either.
I just want to
right?
find my match. Yeah, I just want to find my opponent that I can
Right.
finally fight a fair fight with.
It's always about getting stronger and stronger and
I'm
stronger.
so good and so powerful. I just want to
Yeah.
find the guy who puts up a fight against me.
I know it makes you yawn, but like again, for me, like finding nuance in all of these characters, it's one of the things that makes me really like Lo Lang.
All right.
A guy who would otherwise be kind of a one-dimensional villain.
Yeah.
I start having some affinity for because I really respect his personal search for that.
All right.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And the fact that he's doing some, low down dirty stuff to find that fight.
Yeah.
But that's secondary.
Yeah.
And I respect the hell out of that. So like again, you're building on a one-dimensional character that may seem one-dimensional if you're not willing to look for that stuff.
Well, I would call him one-dimensional because that's all he ever cared about was that one thing. And you know what I mean?
Yeah, but every warrior is going to be singularly focused like that, right? Like even now, if you're looking at MMA fighters, kung fu fighters, whatever, if you're in, not even just fighters and warriors, people who dedicate their lives to something,
Yeah.
and then they dedicate to that one singular thing, right? They always want to become the best and become better and better and better. And the only way to do that at a certain point is once you've plateaued, because Lo Lang had plateaued because there was no one else better than him, you have to find that other person that's going to be better than you in order to progress.
Yeah. You do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he did. He found him.
Yeah.
I don't know. It didn't do it for me. Felt tropey. Felt something I've seen before. Which again, this whole movie. That's my criticism of the whole movie. Everything in the movie was something I've seen before, and usually better. I've seen. Better.
I think for Lo Lang at least, like I kind of disagree that he was one note, because I don't think that you really realize that that's his sole purpose until the latter half of the movie.
You're right.
I think he's one of those mysterious kind of characters where you're not quite sure where his allegiance lies.
Yeah.
Because he's definitely not Chinese.
Yeah.
Why is he working with the Chinese? You know what I mean? You start asking yourself all these questions about this guy, and it makes him intriguing, so that when you get those answers, I found it satisfying.
Yeah.
But I was asking myself those questions as opposed to picking him apart.
Yeah, I think I just wasn't wondering. I wasn't worried about him.
Yeah.
I was like, he's just. We'll see what happens with him.
No.
We'll see what happens with him.
But it's true though, like not having those or asking those questions while you're watching it, because at the latter half of the movie, he could have gone so many different ways. They could have put in like, oh, he's actually there for revenge for something that happened within his home country, and he ended up being right, or like it could have gone any which way.
Yeah.
Right.
You're right. That's the best possible like situation for him. Because you're right. If it was revenge and they dropped that on you in the last scene, I would have been way more mad.
Same.
Yeah. I would have been way more mad.
Yeah.
So you're right.
No, dude, a half-cocked revenge story where you don't understand the significance of the revenge.
Yeah, that's maddening. That's maddening.
Yeah.
All right, so we're at the end of the movie. Everyone's dead except Kotaro.
Well, hold on a second.
Dog.
Hold on. You skipped over the really significant thing that I brought up at the beginning.
No,
of
I didn't
this.
yet. Everyone's dead except Kid, Dog, No Name, and White Dude. They're still fighting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. I thought you skipped over all of this.
The white guy is offered the medicine, or he offers the medicine to No Name. He's like, here, you might need this. Because No Name's fucked up at this point.
Yeah.
Blood in his eyes. He's all cut up. And he's not interested. And the white guy loves that he's not interested.
Yeah.
He's like, you're not taking that medicine. Yeah, you're not taking it.
He didn't
Because
earlier.
he didn't take it either.
Yeah.
Anyways, so they have this crazy sword fight. One-on-one now. No one else is around.
Phenomenal. Some of the best
It was good.
animated sword fighting I've seen.
It was great.
For sure.
And it ends in a double stab.
It does.
And you don't know really what's going on here, but it looks like they're both stabbed. And it turns out that No Name got saved by the fucking little jade log.
Yes.
The thing that you said didn't matter.
It mattered in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
It
matters.
saved the main character's life
Yeah, but
in
like
the
by a
final
fluke-
climactic moment.
Yeah, but by a
dude.
fluke.
Dude, whether or not it's a MacGuffin, it literally saved the main character's
All right.
life in the most climactic end moment of the entire film.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it did.
You cannot understate the importance of that element.
No,
man.
it's important.
Okay.
I forgot it earlier.
That's all
I
we
forgot.
need from you. That's all we need
I
from
forgot
you.
earlier that
Thank
that's what
you.
it was used for later.
Yes.
I forgot earlier.
Yes. So that initial scene where he gets handed that as payment, and you're just like, "What the fuck is this thing?"
Yeah.
It gets the most insane high-end payoff at the end of the fucking film.
And that's another reason
great.
why, to me, now that I'm remembering how it all went down, that's another thing for me why I thought maybe it was never really about payment or money. It was always just about the connection between the two of them. He keeps it on him. It's a thing he treasures. It's his buddy's thing that he gave to him. It's that memory.
I think it becomes that.
It becomes that, afterwards, because then, you have Kuntaro coming and was like, oh, yeah, by the way, that's not actually worth a lot of money.
It'd be like if you gave me a diamond and I was like, this is Mikey's diamond. I love Mikey's diamonds.
Yeah.
I love it so much. And then it saves my life.
Yeah.
And people are like, whoa, you're rich as fuck. I'm like, no.
No, I would never sell this.
No, this is not money.
This is not for sale.
No, this is Mikey's diamond. And I love him. Yeah.
He would be sad if I sold this for millions of
And
dollars.
I would be sad if I ever had to part with it.
Yeah, it's actually really high quality like cubic zirconia.
Yeah, but I'm not even thinking about that. I don't even care. It's Mikey's heart.
Yeah. Yes.
Anyways,
your
I
heart.
found it incredibly touching.
Yeah.
That's what saved him.
And it saves him, and the white guy's dead. And he's just kind of sitting there. I can't remember if he's smiling, but you get
No,
the
he's
vibe.
shocked.
You
He
get the
has
vibe.
he has this look of disbelief on his face,
Yeah.
and he says, "Nobody's ever hit him before, or like with a sword." And he says, like the feeling of a blade is strange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he can't describe the feeling that he's feeling now, having
Yeah.
felt what he has done to so many countless other people.
Yeah.
Again, the poetic nuance to this character, I think, is insanely good, man. I'm really shocked that you picked up on like none of it.
I don't know.
I'm not shocked that he didn't.
I mean, Mikey's got the right of it here. We shouldn't be shocked at this point. Anyways, that's
But
the
yeah.
end. Oh, the last thing you see is they ride off on the beach together,
Yeah.
like to safety.
But they're talking about their future,
Yeah.
and you realize through their conversation that there are absolutely no intentions for these two to go their separate ways, and they're absolutely a team now,
Yeah, their team.
which is what you always wanted. And
Well, but it's
were
also
never
what you
sure.
always knew. You knew.
Well, you didn't, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
you don't,
you know.
man.
Dude, we had this conversation about Samurai Champloo and the fucking ambiguous ending of whether they're gonna fucking stay a team or not.
Yeah.
And we talked at length about how we wanted them to commit
Yeah.
one way or another. Mikey wanted them to leave it open because he likes ambiguous endings where he gets to make up his favorite ending.
Yeah. But, and if you remember, I assumed that they were gonna just hang out and stay together.
Yeah, so I
which
guess
is what I always assumed in this movie too. As soon as I met them.
I didn't know, man. I didn't know if they were both gonna make it out alive. I actually, for most of this, assumed that Nanashi was gonna die.
I mean, that could have been
Yeah.
one way that it would end.
Yeah.
But maybe.
You know what? I almost prefer if Nanashi did die.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Right? Maybe. Let's hear Mikey's ending.
Yeah, because
Nanashi dies.
Nanashi dies, and then you
Did
have
white
this,
guy live?
You know what
White guy
happens?
lives?
Double stab.
Yeah.
Blood drips.
Yeah.
Roll credits.
Oh yeah.
But what
Mikey
about
loves it. Double stab, blood drips. You see Kentaro's face, like the shock and horror.
Yeah.
And then roll credits.
Oh, you get that heart wrench.
The
right?
heart
That's the
wrench.
last thing is the heart wrench.
Yeah. Because that's
So
all
they
you, that's-
stab each other and then they stab you.
Yeah, that's all you need. That's all you need because now you know. You know that's it.
You know.
You know.
And also, that's it to this episode.
The end.
Yeah.
Thank God.
The end.
You know what is? It's crazy because
Get me outta here.
Like when we were off camera, like I was so surprised. I wasn't actually really surprised, but really happy that Jay really enjoyed this movie.
Yeah.
I thought you might like at least enjoy it a little bit more than the way you're speaking about it this entire time.
Sorry.
But I'm like,
I think Jordy went into it with a sour attitude.
yeah, I think so too. He's always been.
I mean, first of all, rude to make assumptions.
Why is that rude?
Because that's not really what happened, dude.
Okay.
I literally had no attitude going in. These days, 9 times out of 10, I walk into a title you guys tell me to watch knowing nothing.
Yeah.
At all. I didn't even know it was about samurai. I mean, I assumed because sword.
Yeah.
But I didn't look it up.
Sword.
But just honestly, like, when you watch this, like, were you in a good mood or were you in a bad mood?
I don't remember, dude, but I don't remember. I think I was just put off by the fact that everything they were giving me was something I'd seen before and not they weren't giving it to me in a new or refreshing way. It just felt like a plain version of something I've seen before in much more interesting ways. And that really colored the whole experience to me, for me.
I liken it to, when I'm like wanting to get something to eat and I go and I decide I'm going to have McDonald's.
Yeah.
And this is something that I've had 1,000 times in my life.
Yeah.
But when you want it and you get it
Yeah.
and it's right,
Yeah.
And it's
is
satisfying.
there anything better
'Kay.
on this earth
Yeah.
than fucking McDonald's?
But this,
Yeah.
but this to me is like, okay, when I do
Fucking
that,
Big Macs.
when I do that, I get a Big Mac. This time I was like, you know what? I don't really feel like a Big Mac. I'm just gonna get like a cheeseburger, and I got the cheeseburger, and I was like,
This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
About you going into it in a bad mood or in the wrong frame of mind. You went into it being like, I'll just get a cheeseburger. No, you needed to go
No.
into this being like, I'm gonna get this Big Mac. And
Yeah.
guess what? Guess what? The movie would have given you a Big Mac.
No, dude.
Yes.
The movie gave me a cheeseburger.
No,
Because that's what you wanted from
No,
it,
that's
dude.
what it gave me.
No, you were looking for a cheeseburger when you really wanted a Big Mac. You didn't even dress it like a Mac.
No, I did. They didn't dress it like a Mac.
They dressed
Listen,
it like
all
a Mac.
jokes, all jokes and stupid comparisons to McDonald's aside.
Yeah.
I feel actually very confident that I picked apart almost all of your major criticisms and can chalk it up to how you approached this movie and the format in which you watched it.
Yes.
No, dude.
That makes me sad,
Because my
dude.
number
Yeah.
one criticism, dude, was the fact that I've seen it all before, and every time I've seen it before, it's been more interesting and more like nuanced and fleshed out than this. This was a very,
You say you've seen it all before, but I question whether or not you really saw this.
I mean,
See, yeah,
I don't know, dude.
That's where I'm at.
This-
I watched it.
I saw.
I have pages of pages of notes about it.
I feel like I watched a
I
different
don't know what else
movie.
to tell
I feel
you.
like I watched a different movie than you, man.
Yeah, because this is the thing.
I
This
even
is
have
your
a good screen
pattern
now,
at this
by the
point.
way.
We are at what
do.
64 episodes, 65 episodes.
This will be
Seven.
64 if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, okay, 64 episodes. Out of all the goddamn 64 episodes that we've had, every time you go into something, right, there are shit that you miss. No matter what, because you always go in not paying close enough attention, even though you are going in with a critical eye,
Yeah.
yet you still gloss over shit.
I feel like you guys are hating on me hard right now. I had an experience watching this movie. Okay, it's my experience based on my past experiences. You know what I mean?
I just want you to be having the.
You want me to be having your experience?
No. I want you to have the most.
Optimal.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. An optimal experience.
Yeah.
I just think that you can't always optimize
You can't.
the experience.
You can't, but you can acknowledge that you didn't optimize your experience enough.
But you're talking
for this
about
movie.
Optimizing my experience would be changing who I am going in, and that's not
it's
happening,
not,
man.
dude.
Yeah, dude. It is.
This film did not offend who
But
you
you're asking
are.
me to change my opinion. We talked about how I prioritize story over a lot of other things, and I do that, and I'm not going to change that.
I know, but
And that's one of the main downfalls of this movie is that the story kind of sucked.
it
was kinda weak.
That was an area where I kind of agreed with you.
Yeah.
but that wasn't
not
necessarily.
the-
But if
Yeah,
that's
like
my
linchpin.
number one thing I'm looking for,
right,
as
then
a viewer?
then I don't expect you to necessarily love this movie. But
Thank you.
But when we get into all of these other aspects, I expect you to at least be willing to acknowledge.
I acknowledged a lot of shit.
where they excelled.
I acknowledged
Yes.
a lot of shit where they excelled.
It was very reluctant, my friend.
Some of it
Yes.
was reluctant. Some of it was reluctant. I'll agree.
And that's
There
why.
you go.
And listen, dude, that is the only reason I was asking if maybe you were in a bad mood about this movie because you seemed
Yeah.
more reluctant than you normally do.
I just felt the way I felt about it.
Okay.
And
I think
I'll stop pressing.
Yeah. I think there was a good mix of you being a little bit more reluctant and maybe going in a little bit more sour, and B, this is your first episode back, and I'm a little harder on you because I've missed you.
I love you too, Mikey.
I told you there was shit pent up.
yeah, clearly.
You know.
Clearly. Not in me. I got it all out while I was gone.
All right. Well, anyway, Jordy, what do you give this?
Mikey, earmuffs.
No, these headphones are right in my ears.
4 out of 10.
Oh,
What?
4 out of 10.
a fail.
Yeah.
You think this failed as a film?
To me, for my sensibilities,
This
what
was
I
a
like.
failure.
You
Yeah,
are
it wasn't.
fucking
I would
wrong.
never watch it again.
You are fucking wrong.
And you wouldn't recommend it to anybody.
I would recommend it to someone who I know loves samurai shit. I'd be like, oh, you'd probably like this.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Oh, really? Is it good? What would you give it out of 10?" And you're like, 4.
I'd say 4, but I don't like samurai shit. My
Okay.
friend Mikey, who loves samurai shit, gave it a 9.5 out of 10.
Okay, well, maybe next time at the beginning of the maybe next time at the beginning of the episode, you can preface everything you say with saying, "I don't like samurai shit."
Dude, why am I here on this podcast? What's my role on the podcast?
You realize that samurais exist outside of the confines of anime, right?
Yeah, I understand that, but like, when
Okay.
it comes to movies and films and TV, I mean, dude, Ninja Scroll. What did I score Ninja Scroll?
I don't even
Pretty
remember.
Probably
high.
not that high, I don't think.
Fairly high.
I had a
Yeah,
lot
it
of
was
complaints about Ninja
it
Scroll.
was definitely a passing grade.
It might have been.
It was definitely a passing grade.
I'm
I
just
think-
surprised you think that this failed as a film.
Yeah.
For my sensibilities.
Wow.
There's no way I'm watching this movie again.
What did you see recently that was so good that has your bar so high?
Well, Everything Everywhere All at Once was really good. Triangle of Sadness was amazing.
Sounds like a bummer of a time.
Dude, watch Triangle of Sadness. It's bonkers.
Well, we're gonna have beef
Bonkers.
triangles later. So,
What are those, Mikey?
Sounds sexual.
yeah. Well, they actually look kind of like.
What do they look like, Mikey?
What are those things?
Are we talking about beef triangles?
Yeah.
We're gonna describe beef triangles.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, we're trying to wrap up this
Let's
fucking
hear some
episode.
ratings from the people who actually like this
Yeah.
film.
Jesus Christ.
Jay, what is your score?
Honestly, you guys today have made me want to score this movie lower
Great. Hey, mission accomplished for me.
because of the nonsense that's gone on. Bunch of silly geese.
We are
That's you
silly
guys.
geese.
Yeah, we were kind of silly today.
Honk.
I give this 8 out of 10. Really solid 8 out of 10.
Wow.
The art was phenomenal. The music was great. I loved a lot. I loved most of the characters. Yeah, it just kind of fell short on the story, and a few things felt a little bit half baked, but not enough to discredit how good the art and music was to me. The art and
Yes.
music, 10 out of 10.
Absolutely.
The rest was rough.
Can I just point out that like art and music don't make up 80% of a score I ever give?
Yeah.
You see
It
what I'm saying?
can.
You see what I'm saying?
It can sometimes if it's warranted.
No, not he's saying.
I'm saying for me,
he would
Oh.
never weight
yeah.
art and music that highly in his
Plot and
evaluation.
characters alone might be 80%, in my opinion.
And I would
of the
never
way
do
I
that.
rate. Yeah, so
Anyway,
Different
actually,
experiences.
can you look up the Mal score on this?
Sure. What's your score?
So my score is an 8 too, a good solid 8. It was great. I did do a rewatch because of the nostalgia, and it hit like the way I remember it hitting.
8.3.
8.3.
Wow, I guess you hated this movie, Mikey.
Oh, fuck you. I am exactly where everybody else is on the internet.
A little lower.
Everybody else likes it more than you. Actually.
Yeah, that's true, Mikey. Yeah. That's true.
Shut up,
You got to give it that extra 0.5.
Yeah, okay, fine. I'm going to give it an 8.4.
Ooh. You hear that? MyAnimeList.net.
Yeah. Take that, dicks.
Dicks. All right. Anyway, Jordy, where can people find you?
At reaching in. Don't send me samurai shit.
I'm going to send them all the shit.
Send it to me. I'll forward it to Mikey. He loves that shit.
Actually, I do. Jay, where can people find you?
On a different podcast starting today. Hanger91.bigcartel.com or at hanger.91 on Instagram.
Yes, and you guys can find me on Shmanime Pod on TikTok, Instagram, and join the Discord. It's tons of fun.
Yeah.
Also, next week, what are we doing, guys?
Never Not Kittens.
Oh yeah, there's there's also that.
Don't do them.
Don't do them. No, so next week we're gonna be doing Fooly Cooley or FLCL.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The original one.
the original, the very first one
Not
from
this
2000.
new bullshit.
So we're gonna do that. Also, please go donate to Never Not Kittens if you can.
Yes.
Yeah.
Link below.
Yeah,
it's on,
they're
they have a
sick.
TikTok and they rescue kittens. It's great.
Yeah.
Nonprofit.
Kittens are dope.
But yeah, thanks guys.
Thanks.
I'm gonna go cry now.
I did that.
Bye.
I did that.